Welcome to another episode of Fast Forward Theater. I'm your host Steve, and today we'll be assembling the wall panels for our shop build in Kentucky. We're constructing these wall panels in a post and beam fashion, if you will. We're putting horizontal purlins on it rather than, your typical top and bottom plate with studs. This is because we're putting a vertical board and batten siding on the wall panels that will not only be the siding, but it will also be the sheeting for the wall and give it that sheer strength. We do, however, need some studs, if you will, or posts like you would for a post and beam. We also did put a top and bottom plate on. This gives us some treated lumber that will come in contact with the concrete, as well as a top plate that we can rest the trusses on and screw up through it to secure them. This is the long right side of the shed. It's pretty simple, just boards all the way down. We trim it off flush with the top and bottom plate. I'm gonna wait and put the batten strips on afterwards, but in hindsight, we could have done it on this wall and the back wall as well because they are pretty simple. But this one went pretty fast. We're gonna try and leave two of the panels close to the middle with just a screw in it and no nails so that we can take them off. Makes it easier to load the panels on and off the trailer, as well as get a strap on them when we go to stand them up. The other long side has 4 windows in it. I just used these wooden window sashes I got from my big box store, and I spray painted the inside of the windows for security. We used the sashes themselves to space the center purlin down from the top one. I left just a little bit of wiggle room. But after we flip this wall over, we are going to install the board and batten siding. We'll cut the opening for the windows 1 inch smaller than the window sash themselves, and after we get the wall stood up in Kentucky, we'll install these windows with some screws from the inside. Worked out really well. This is the front wall of the shed. It's the one that gets the door. Just like when we did the truss for this end, we're going to go ahead and install all the hardware for the door on the wall before we cut the door out. We spaced our boards so that 3 boards make up each door, and the joint between them is exactly center of the wall. We're even going to install this lock, hasp, and lock. We're going to chalk a line where we cut the top of the door open, but I'm going to wait until we get to Kentucky to cut the door open. It keeps everything in line, centered, and ready to go a lot better. This works out really well. If we just cut the door open like it is now, all the boards will fall apart. So we need something to hold them together. We picked the wall up and stood it against the workbench, And we'll put some cross bracing, glued and stapled just like the trusses and the rest of the trim will be, leaving a space between the doors so that it'll open when we cut it apart. We'll put some angle bracing on as well as these horizontal braces to keep the door from sagging or racking.
Everybody's gonna know. Everybody's gonna know that's not my handwriting.
One of the great parts of having employees is when you screw up, you get to blame things on them. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. With the trusses, roof sheeting, and wall panels all finished up, it's time to load it all in the trailer, head to Kentucky, and stand it up when we get there. I will link that video above here, and also I'll put everything in a playlist so you can see this start to finish. I've got videos for the concrete, trusses, wall panels, and standing the shed up itself. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again on the next one.